Welcome to the Nerdist Podcast. April Fools. This is Corey and this is O The Anthem Podcast.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Rob. Welcome to episode 208 of the O The Anthem Podcast.
Also known as 208.
Is that what I said? 208?
Yeah. In common parlance, though.
I thought I
208.
threw too many zeros in there for a second. Welcome to episode 208 of the O The Anthem Podcast. It is 9:21 p.m. Pacific. That makes it 12:21 p.m. Eastern Time. And O The Anthem is live from coast to coast, broadcasting from the beautiful hashtag OTA LA studios in downtown Los Angeles, California. Welcome to the podcast.
Yes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. All that stuff. Appreciated by all. And by all, I mean Rob and I.
Yes, of course. And of course, you can find more from the podcast at O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
That's not the number, but okay.
443-219-7595?
Yep, there it is.
What did I say? What did I say the first time?
291.
I think I'm having a seizure. 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595.
There we go.
And of course, if you want to join us, we are broadcasting live on Facebook this week. You can join us right there in the Facebook chat. We'll probably be on Facebook from now on. We're thinking about things. We're feeling things out. It'll be either Facebook or YouTube. You can always find new episodes of the podcast every Tuesday at youtube.com/O The Anthem. And of course, you can download the podcast at any one of your podcatchers, whether that's the Apple Play Store. What is it? Apple Podcasts. Or the Google Play Store, or Dogcatcher, or Pocket Cast, which is our favorite, of course. And if Corey ever stops being such a curmudgeon, maybe we'll be on Spotify. But anyway,
I'm not the one who's stopping.
He's blocking. I got connects at Spotify. I'm trying to get us on Spotify.
I said go for it.
This is a 50-50 deal. I gotta have approval. I don't even get a veto.
I said go for it.
Okay, well, we'll have to work on that. But
now it's on the show too.
Yeah, now we have to go for it. So, but anyway, so thank you for joining us, of course, as you do every single week. And we have a lot to get to, but I wanted to start somewhere very important. And Corey, much like every good marriage, and this is, we are heterosexual life mates, if you will. Much like every good marriage, one partner just likes to start fights, and that partner is me. So this is an important day, Corey. Do you know why it's an important day?
I don't.
Hang on. Let me get the camera right on you.
Okay.
Do you know why this is such an important day, Corey?
April 2nd. Oh, is this the anniversary of the podcast?
Folks, this will make 4 years of the O The Anthem podcast. Episode 208 divided by 52 makes it 4 years. 4 consecutive years of every single week bringing you new content. And I can't believe you made it here. You might think that we'd have something special planned for this show, but April Fools.
Clearly, I just remembered about this.
Just like every good husband, Corey just remembered the anniversary.
Just racking my brain going like, what is it?
And like every good wife, I wasn't going to remind him because I wanted to embarrass him in public.
I honestly thought that you were talking about fights in public. You were going to talk about the opening day many years ago where you were like up at the Maryland Stadium Authority person.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Like, you don't understand that this is owned by the state of Maryland. Drunk, like I'm a lawyer.
Drunk making very good legal arguments.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, got the family, including children that were sitting in front of us, moved, but didn't get us kicked out. So I'll thank you to remember the details. Yes. But no, so thank you all who have stuck around for the last 208 episodes, the last 4 consecutive years of brand new content. I cannot believe we've been doing it this long. What are we doing with our lives?
There should be a party. There should be.
There probably should be. We probably should have planned something out, but
we have 1 year to plan for 5, so
yeah, good. So we got plenty of time.
Yeah,
and we have to build up that LA base so we can have a live show like we did back at year 2.
Year 1, I thought.
There's so many memories. There's
like
so many big
live
memories.
Show. Yeah.
It's
hard to keep track of them all.
But, of course, you can go to youtube.com/O The Anthem where you can find all 208. Well, no, not all of them. Most of the 208 episodes, the ones that we had video for, are up on YouTube. And if not, you can check out OTheAnthem.com where you can find not only more about the podcast, not only can you find sweet merch, like a great shirt to wear to baseball if you're heading to a baseball game, but you can also find every single one of the podcasts up and available there to make sure that you guys check those out. At some point, we're going to have to pull those down. And to be
fair, some of them have already pulled down.
Okay, well, maybe we'll have to get those episodes and put them on some drives and like, hey, $20, buy yourself a drive with 200 episodes on it. A lot of extra work for Corey to do and nothing absolutely extra for me to do, which I'm totally
I have to drag all these files from one computer to the other.
So much work to do. But yeah, so thank you guys for sticking around with us for 4 years. We are, of course, happy to hear all of your feedback. You can do that at 443-219-7595. You can hit Corey at otheanthem.com. You can reach us at any of the social media that you see down below on the flag. Just for kicks, I might watch episode 1 and just to see what's up. See what it looks like.
Yeah.
Right now we have an unbelievable production value. Donna, thank you for joining us here in the Facebook chat. Late night, Donna joins us after midnight. But our production value now is astounding as compared to the practice episode that we did at my apartment. December of 4 years ago would have been 2013.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, things have improved a lot. Sound quality, video quality, the fact that there's LA in the background of our video right now. It's amazing.
And not the beauty of Parkville, Maryland. the transcendent beauty of Parkville, Maryland.
Well, I mean, you couldn't really see Parkville from where we were. It was the studios deep below the earth in Parkville, Maryland. And now we're high above the 110 freeway. So we're moving on up to the west side. Anyway, so thank you guys for joining us for 4 years of episodes. We couldn't do this without you. We wouldn't want to do this without you all listening. So if you have memories over the last 4 years or so, reach out this week. Send us a message. Call the listener line and leave a message there. If you want, send a text message. Find us on any of your social medias. Or just post on the O The Anthem page and just say, hey, this is the thing I remember from the past 4 years. And maybe in the next couple weeks, we'll get our act together and do something to celebrate 4 years.
Speaking of production value.
Yeah.
I think I have a hankering to speak a little sports ball.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Well, if only we had a...
Yeah, play it to the end.
Hey, love it. Anyway.
Yeah. So opening day was this weekend.
Yes.
Which was a lot of fun. People seem to enjoy themselves back home.
Yeah.
I had some drinks by myself in the apartment.
Did you get opening day drunk?
No, I didn't. Because there's something a little bit sad when it's by yourself and not with like a group of people.
Sure. Yeah.
So I had 3 domestic beers.
Wow. Okay. Good domestic beers though, right?
I joined Jared Kushner for 3 domestic beers.
And
watch Cartoon President.
Yeah, you guys have to watch Cartoon President. If you're not watching, I don't even know what you're doing with yourself. But it's on Showtime. Go watch it. Again, most of you probably won't. I actually, you know what? I'd like to think if they're listening to our podcast, if they've been listening for the last 4 years, they might be in that sweet spot of people who really get it.
Right. If you heard me say Jared Kushner and you know who that is, then perhaps you'll know some of the people on this show.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the deepest of polls, but we've talked about Stephen Miller before. Mm-hmm. You know who Stephen Miller is. You're definitely going to get that show. Anyway, check it out. It's fantastic. Not that we're promoting, not that we're getting paid by Showtime, but I mean,
we could.
Yeah, we can always be bought.
But yeah, I had 3 beers and
3 Coors Lights.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Because that was what it was available at the store.
No, I would say no. I would say no to that. That's a hard pass for me.
It's a no for me, dog.
That's a no for me, dog. I'm sorry.
And yeah, I got to watch on Snapchat all day. The map function is a lot of fun on opening day.
See, I didn't even think about that.
Where you can like go on Snapchat and like just like go in on the map and like look at pickles.
Yeah.
That day. That was fun. And the Orioles won, which is nice. The last time that's happened all season long. So.
And they walked it off. They walked off opening day.
Yep.
In the 11th.
Jones in his 11th opening day, perhaps his last.
There's not a lot of good news coming out of Baltimore these days, unfortunately. At least with the Orioles organization.
No. But good news.
Yeah.
The Washington Capitals have clinched the Metro Division.
They have. Wait, I think I have something for this. Wait.
I think you do, but I imagine
I do.
it's all off. You're disappeared.
No, I'm not even here.
You didn't set up the thing.
All right, wait. You know what? We can just replace this.
That's actually better. Can we just keep it like that?
I think this is the best way to do the podcast, honestly. Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, the Caps have won the Metro Division. They're officially in the playoffs. So you can go buy your Win a Cup or Kill Me Already t-shirt, available at otheanthem.com. Only the finest things to be seen at the former Verizon Center. I don't know. I can't remember what it's Capital One or something like that now. Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking matter.
I see that you trimmed. You didn't shave, but you trimmed.
Well, I shaved the other day prior to the official clinching.
By the way, did we bring up the other big change in your life?
Well, it
recently?
was last week when I.
Did anybody notice?
Well, nobody said anything to me, but
Yeah.
I expect your litany of fans to be like, oh my God, why did Corey cut his hair? Is trying to look more like yo?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything.
Is it trying to be more like yo?
I really would like to hear from my litany of fans.
Yeah.
Especially, by the way,
the Rub Army.
Yes, we got to come up with a name for the litany of fans who get in touch with me. So you guys,
The Rowdy Robbies.
You should start a Facebook group and the Rowdy Robbie. There's got to be a third one. I don't know. I'll work on it. You guys work on it. Start yourself a Facebook group of people who are fans of me. And, Corey's okay too.
Wouldn't it be funny if they made like the Stupid Rob fan club?
Yeah, listen, I will take the hashtag Stupid Rob fan club. If you guys start a Stupid Rob fan club, I will get the Facebook screen printed on a shirt. And I will proudly wear that t-shirt. Proudly. But anyway, so yes, Corey got his haircut. I don't know if we mentioned it last week or not. Did we?
Yeah, we started the show with it.
No, yeah. See, it's just like forever.
It's the onset dementia hitting you.
It could be the early onset dementia. That might absolutely be it. But you did trim up your beard at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're in that time of the year,
yeah,
now comes the playoff beard.
Well, now comes something.
Did you ever think that maybe it's your beard that's jinxing the team? Maybe if you just shave everything, head, beard.
Oh, look like a alopecia.
Yeah. If you just shave everything above your neck, maybe that's what it'll take for the Caps to win a cup. And would you be willing to do that?
No.
Really?
No.
Not even for your beloved Capitals?
No, because listen, that's not forever, but it's for a while. So if I shave everything, like eyebrows included, and I have to live in the pain and agony of 4 weeks of no hair and no Capitals, then I'm going to be very upset. So no, I'm not going to do that. I will happily look like a stupid mountain man for
first of all, the
playoffs, 2 weeks that the playoffs last.
The playoffs aren't that long. They're not long enough for you to start looking like a mountain man. No, I don't know.
It's not 2 decades long.
For those of you who have followed along with the podcast for the last 4 years, Corey grows facial hair at about the rate of my 4-month-old nephew, Maxon. I'm pretty sure he's sporting like a full-on beard. Like Sarah is shaving him twice a day at this point. So
5 o'clock shadow. 5 o'clock shadow game strong.
Yes, he is a fully grown man in the body of the cutest baby you've ever seen. And if you want to see more pictures of him, check it out at Robert N. Cheek on Instagram. I post pictures. He's adorable. You don't want to miss it. So Capitals are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They
buy a shirt.
Clinched the Metro division.
Yes.
And in celebration,
which is short for the Metropolitan Division.
Rice. Yes. Rice. Right. Yes. And in celebration, you should go to OTheAnthem.com, click on the merchandise store. I think it's the OTA store. And purchase your Win a Cup or Kill Me Already t-shirt.
Or you could just go to OTheAnthem.com and then literally every single post will have that shirt like in the thing. So you can just click on it and then it'll take you directly to.
Hey, and you know what else you can do while you're there? Click through the Amazon banner. It's a great way to help out your favorite podcast. You've been listening to us for 4 years now. And we know that you shop on Amazon. Everybody knows you shop on Amazon. Trump knows that you shop on Amazon, and that's why he's so angry. But we're going to get to that later.
You know what you could do? You could buy somebody else's present on Amazon using the link, and it's like you're giving us a present too.
That it is. It's
so like say if somebody's birthday was coming up on April 16th, Corey Baker, then you could buy a present on Amazon. You could go through the link, and then we get a little taste, a little piece.
Absolutely, yeah.
Amazon meets us in a shady alley and just slips us a little something.
Slips us something. So many inappropriate things. We're on Facebook. We got to be careful.
Yeah, we got to be.
All right? We have to be careful because we're on Facebook.
Yeah.
But yes, and it costs you nothing extra. So the best kind of gifts are the ones that don't cost you money. You can buy your favorite person a gift, and then you give O The Anthem a gift as well. So go to the merchandise store, check that out. You get your Orioles shirt, get your Capital shirt, and click through the banner at OTheAnthem.com for Amazon to help out your favorite podcast as well. So, are you excited about the Capitals in the playoffs?
Yeah. That's about as much reaction as I can muster for that right now.
Oh, there you go. All right. So go get your t-shirts, everybody. Anyway, so we had another big situation happen today. It's the first time that we've seen a news story kind of circle around to its completion, to its disappointing completion. Back in season 1, which would just be the first year of the
Yeah.
podcast, we brought to you a story about a kid in Texas who claimed that because he was so rich and spoiled that he should not be responsible for his actions. And oh boy, did we have a laugh at that.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we had a bit of a guffaw at that moment.
Yes. And then it became significantly less funny when he was given probation because he was rich and didn't understand that killing 4 people while drunk driving was a serious thing that he should be held responsible for.
It's not just the fact that he was rich. It was the affluenza defense,
Yes,
which
yes.
his attorney had used, saying that he didn't know the difference between right and wrong because he had been so spoiled and rich his whole life.
That is some Johnny Cochran ass shit there.
Yeah.
That is some like...
Talking about, like, when we were going back and forth on that other legal case.
Yes.
Like, if she had that lawyer, then perhaps she could be governor right now.
She probably could.
Yeah.
Or president. I mean,
yeah, just turn it all around.
anybody can be president now, apparently. But yeah, so he was given probation. And then if you remember the story from a few episodes later, it was probably in season 2.
Call it season 2?
Or, the second year of the podcast. That he only had one thing that he had to do. And that was basically not leave the state of Texas. And instead, he ran with his mother.
Not drink.
And not drink, also, yes. And he ran to Mexico with his mother and was drinking at a resort.
Well, no, so the drinking came first. There
Was
was
the
a video.
drinking first?
Yeah. A video was posted online of him at a party.
Oh, that's right.
With, like,
and that's how
a drink in his hand.
Yes.
And then the probation officer said, I want to know more about this. And rather than showing up and talking to the probation officer, him and his mom skipped town and went to Mexico.
That's right. Yes.
And then he was found, I don't know, like 3 days later when they used a credit card, like a bunch of dum-dums.
It's like you people don't watch CSI. Do you not see?
You don't even need to have CSI for that. You just need to have access to a city account for that. Like,
Yeah. No.
It's not that much.
So they were picked up by the federales. They were brought back, and he got 2 years on his violation of probation, which, by the way, he got 2 years for drinking a beer while on probation. He got 0 years.
Still under 21, by the way.
Yeah, still under 21. Got 0 years for killing 4 people in a drunk driving accident.
Yeah.
So, welcome to America, where we make up the rules and the rules don't matter.
Make up the rules as we go along. And the rules
that's
don't matter.
that's basically how the country's being run now. So anyway, today, Affluenza Teen was released from serving his 2 years for a probation violation, and this story has now come full circle, and I'm sure he's been rehabilitated. He is a functional member of society now.
Nope. I don't think any of those things are true.
No, I would guess not. My guess is he gets his second DUI before his 21st birthday.
Probably, yeah.
That's going to be my guess. And God, let's hope he doesn't kill somebody when that happens. I guarantee you he's out celebrating getting out of jail right now, despite the fact that he's still on probation. And a little facet of this case. Another story that came out this week was that another woman in Texas was on probation for passing a bad check. She had served 3 years of her 5-year sentence for passing a bad check, and she went to vote in 2016. Now, in some states in the union, that would be fine, because so long as you're not currently incarcerated, you can vote. Well, hey, in some states in the union, while incarcerated, you can actually vote. Cook County held their first voting in the prison.
Oh, wow.
Just depends where you are. Yeah. That's Illinois, where even dead people get to vote. So it's not surprising that people in jail get to vote. But in other states, as soon as you get out of jail, even if you're on probation, you can still vote then. In other states, you never get back the right to vote, like Mississippi. Just think of any place that you don't really want to go and visit. That's a place where you probably
can't vote. Yeah,
you're probably not going to vote again.
Yeah.
Anyway, and in Texas, you do get the right to vote back only once you finish your probation period. And she was in the midst of her 3-year probation period after being released under supervision, and she went and voted. And she didn't see the on the back of the form where it said, if you are currently under supervised probation, you cannot vote, do not vote, because the entirety of the voting form and the signature were on the front of the form. Mm-hmm. No election judge asked her whether or not she was a felon. Nobody asked her if she was legal to vote. They just took her ballot and she filed it. And if I told you, Corey, that Affluenza Teen got probation, 3 years of probation, and then I told you that this lady voted accidentally while on probation, exercising a constitutional right, trying to make a country better,
Yeah.
voting for Hillary Clinton in a state where that really didn't matter.
Right.
What kind of time would you think that she would get?
I imagine she would get probation.
You would think that. You absolutely would.
Or at the very least, she would the sentence that she was sentenced to for the writing the bad check would trigger jail time.
Well, just go back to jail.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're on like a probation where if you violate probation, then you have to go to jail for 3 years.
Yeah, you serve the rest of the time.
Yeah. I would imagine that would kick in.
Well, to be fair, she did have it kick in. It was a violation of probation, so she had to go serve the rest of the 2 years on her 5-year sentence for passing the bad check. She also got 5 years, 5 additional years for voting when she wasn't allowed to vote. Affluenza teen killed 4 people, drunk driving incident. Probation. 0 years of jail time. 0 days of jail time.
Right. Violated the probation.
Got 2 years.
Got 2 years.
Yes. She voted in a very important election when all of the safeguards that were meant to keep her from voting failed. Not her fault. And she, in her good faith, tried to vote. And they gave her 5 years. And again, welcome to America, where we make up the rules as we go along and the points don't matter. So
there you go.
That might be my new thing. that might be my new thing. Like, what does it matter?
Whose America is it anyway?
Whose America is it anyway? I mean, well, we already know what the answer to that question is. And speaking of whose America is it
I wish we just had a drop where it was just like white people.
Yes. Fucking white people bullshit. Whose America is it anyway? Well, if you had to pick a winner in America right now, I would certainly pick Jeff Bezos because, oh my, is he making life very easy for himself?
By not making his life easy?
Well, by being worth $100 billion.
I mean, yes, that certainly helps. But
yeah.
He's also drawing a lot of ire from the White House. So,
well, to be fair though, who isn't these days? Who's not drawing ire from the White House? So, is it really that bad, or?
Well, when you're in a regulated marketplace, or an unregulated marketplace, then it can get a little bit.
I suppose. I always go back to that picture of Jeff Bezos sitting in that office with the spray painted sign that says Amazon.com in '99. And I wonder if you showed that to him and you were like, hey, you're going to be back here in 3 years. What would he say? Would he just kill himself right there if you told him that for certain you're going to be back in that office in 3 years?
No, I don't think so.
He's building a clock out in the middle of the desert in Texas that will run perfectly for the next 10 million years.
Yeah. Is it like
really,
a new atomic clock?
It's a new perfect atomic clock. And that's really fuck me money. That is the definition of fuck me money. It's like, how much money do you have? I don't know. I'm just going to build a clock that's going to continue kicking and ticking millennia after human beings have wiped ourselves off the face of the earth. But this clock will be there. The monkeys will enjoy it. It's fine.
I think that the part that's enjoyable about this is that he bought the Washington Post.
Oh, yes.
And basically just walked away. He's just like, all right, kids, have fun.
Have fun.
Here's my checkbook if you get in any kind of trouble.
And oh boy, are they. Oh boy, are they. So...
Shall I set this up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Good, set it.
So basically, Bezos bought the Washington Post several years ago. He said that it was important that institutions like this have money to operate, and he didn't want to step in on what the Post was doing, but he wanted to fund them to make sure that they could keep doing what they're doing. Fast forward to Trump is elected president, and then fast forward even more through all the shit show until this week when Trump is apparently completely losing his mind that Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, and the Washington Post has been slamming him, and therefore is going to try and find ways to fuck with Jeff Bezos. That's essentially the long and short of the situation.
Now, what would you say to an accusation that Jeff Bezos becoming the richest man in the world and Trump pretending to be the richest man in the world, that comes into play somewhat?
I mean, I don't think Trump ever tried to sell himself as like the richest man in the world.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, of course.
I think he was always saying like, "Hey, listen, for what I do, I'm one of the best."
Yes.
But I'm not the richest real estate guy in the world. And I'm not the richest because some of these things you can just, it doesn't pass the smell test. If Donald Trump was just like, "I'm the richest man in the world," it'd just be like,
To be fair, if he said he's a billionaire, that doesn't really pass the smell test either.
I mean, there's a lot of people who say he's a millionaire in the the tens somewhere.
That would make sense.
In between $1 million and $100 million.
Yeah.
But nobody's ever seen his tax return, so we don't know.
I guess we'll never find out. Although, aren't the president's tax returns public? I feel like that's public information. I feel like we may find out later on this year. Although, if he's under an audit and he's continuing the audit, then it wouldn't be. Because the years kind of just get added in the
Or
audit.
they just don't release it. I feel like they don't have to do these things.
The rules do not apply.
The doctor,
Yes.
who is now, by the way, going to run the VA
Yes.
because Trump likes him. Remember, he went up on the White House press briefing and said that Trump weighed like 240 pounds or something like that.
With a straight face.
Yeah.
With a straight face.
Yeah, nothing applies. It's all right. By the way, I'm like 275.
Yeah.
I've got a somewhat similar build to Trump,
Well, he's a little taller.
but he's taller.
Yeah.
And I would say that he's not 245.
No.
That's not
No.
a realistic number.
Yeah.
And not the richest man. Not even in New York. Not by a long shot.
Not at all. But so now he wants to go to war with China, which, by the way, just update on that. We don't have a lot of details, but apparently China today put in a tariff package that's going to affect $3 billion in trade in the next few weeks.
Fun.
Not few years, few weeks, $3 billion. Basically, they put in a temporary tariff package to hurt us. And then it's like the first. No, that's a horrible example. I'm not going to use that one. It's just like I don't know.
It's like the Boston Tea Party, only it's happening in Beijing instead.
Well, no. It's like when you grab a pot and you're thinking like that might be hot. I'm gonna just give it a little. I'm gonna give it a little grab test, and then like, oh yeah, that's hot. That's what China's doing now. They're like, we could hurt you. We could hurt you real bad. But instead, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put in this temporary stuff, and when you see how bad we could hurt you, then we're gonna take it out, and then we're gonna ask you, did you like that? There was a much worse example that I was about to use that would have fit probably better there, but I won't.
It's all right. Well,
we're on Facebook.
Moving on.
So it's they're just gonna try and basically let us know what a trade war would look like with the country to whom we do the most trade. Walmart, really, and Amazon. Mm-hmm. Those two things alone probably make up half of what we get from China. So
let me ask you this: going back to Amazon.
Yes.
Do you think that they should be regulated more than they currently are?
I think it depends on what that regulation looks like.
I mean, do you have anything off the top of your head that you would, if you were a congressman right now and you were in the place to suggest regulations on Amazon, is there anything that you would think of off the top of it? I don't need specifics, like there's a 0.4% escalator on all.
No,
but like,
and I don't
just
think,
roughly speaking, is there something that you would?
The only thing that any regulators are going to want to do is to put more taxes on the people who are buying the goods, which doesn't make sense to me. The whole point is to get cheap goods to you quickly, and I'm even willing to let them write off a lot of these like stupid things that they do. Like I know same day delivery has got to cost that company a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the convenience for people who live in Baltimore or LA or New York, where they have same day delivery, they love it. We got stuff delivered to my office that we ordered first thing in the morning. Ordered at 10 a.m. It was at my office by 4.
Yeah.
And when I needed that afternoon cup of coffee, that really came in handy, and I appreciated it.
Just the flustered Amazon guy walking in. I got it. I got your coffee.
Thank you, sir. Actually,
this is fucking cold.
No, it was a bag of coffee to make coffee.
Oh.
But no.
This is cold, and you throw it on him.
So
it scalds him. It's like, well, I guess it wasn't that cold.
But yeah, all of the stuff that they're going to want to put in is either going to stifle innovation, like drones. Wouldn't it be awesome if we could get stuff delivered by drone?
Yeah.
Like you call Amazon and 3 hours later the drone drops it off on the balcony out there.
It just hits the window like a bird.
Don't. Instructions on the back. Toss into the air. And off he goes.
Oh man, how fucking dumb would I feel if the drone just said on the back like toss into air, we'll be fine, and I'm just like, oh, okay, and I just throw it into the 110 and it just falls on somebody's hood.
Oh yes, yeah.
Start a massive accident.
Yeah.
I'm just standing there like, What do I do? What do I do?
It's like that self-driving car that hit somebody. Like, it's gonna happen. It's fine.
Did you see the video of it, by the way?
No, I didn't even know there was video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had a video that the two videos, one that pointed at the driver and one that pointed out on the road. Now, should the self-driving cars be better than this? Yes, but I actually think that no person, even if they were laser focused, would have been able to stop in time to keep this person from dying.
That's what I heard.
Because they ran across like a busy highway, like in the middle,
right in the front of the car. Yeah,
and they cut like pretty much right as the car was intersecting. So like even if you locked brakes, you wouldn't have been able to like avoid it really.
So everyone's problem.
But
with
it was really funny to watch the other guy who looks like he's on probation in Texas somewhere.
Is that your
Just, like,
racist way of saying he's black? Is that what you're saying?
he was actually a white guy.
Oh, okay.
But he had like one of those long ponytails and like a weird beard.
So he looked like a
And
Google.
he was like on his phone. He's just checking every so often. And and then
boom,
just and you see his face is like, oh no, what did I do?
Yeah. So here's the thing: you can't expect. We do expect the cars to be a little better than people, but you have to expect the people on the street to have a certain level of intelligence.
Yeah.
One of those things being don't run out in front of traffic.
Yeah.
That avoids that. And if in the end a human could not have avoided the accident, can you really blame the self-driving car? That's the thing.
I don't.
4,000 people are killed pedestrians are killed in traffic accidents every single year. If we could knock that down by 10%.
By the way, our street is one of the
deadliest,
10 biggest in Los Angeles for accidents.
I would assume that. I see people doing that same dumbass stuff, stepping out from between two cars and running across 4 lanes of traffic. Like, I did not see you until you were out of my lane already.
Right.
2 seconds, I would have plowed you over, and maybe I shouldn't be texting. Maybe that's probably the thing. I'm just kidding. I don't text and drive. Snapchat. But no, but I mean, like, if 4,000 people are pedestrians killed by cars. If we didn't have self-driving cars and we lower that by 10%, isn't that just an improvement? Isn't that better?
I mean, it's better, but I wouldn't. If you're trying to make the point that technology is going to help solve this issue, then I think you would want to have a 90% decrease or more.
Okay.
You would want to say like, hey, instead of 4,000 traffic accidents a year that cause death, 40 because of self-driving cars.
Well,
then you can make the argument that, you know, like it maybe 40 deaths to some people seems completely inappropriate, but like if you can cut the human error by that much, then
well, okay. So using that same logic, I don't want to see any new gun control regulation unless you can lower the amount of gun deaths by 90%.
Well, I don't think that's the same thing.
Well, why isn't it the same thing? Because we're talking about making
because you have
positive steps that lower the death rate.
You have to get registered, you have to get licensed to drive a car. You don't have to do that with a handgun of some kind.
But if you have a self-driving car, you wouldn't have to do that either.
You would still need to go through some sort of regulation and licensing.
In a good society where we just trust the damn car to drive and know that it's occasionally going to get in an accident.
If somebody created a gun that only shot in danger, then I would be okay with that.
Oh, Minority Report? Like the fingerprint gun?
No, I'm saying like if the gun had like a little microphone on it and it heard somebody go like, "Give me your purse," then it started firing.
Just willy-nilly? You didn't even get it out of your pocketbook yet. It starts firing.
You just hear like the gun go like, "Armed." And then you can like reach in and like fire 15 shots into the person's chest. And then you find out, then that visit to Neiman Marcus goes off.
Oh, the visit. Yes. It has gone horribly awry. Another shooting today in Neiman Marcus. We've got a comment from the CEO of the company, and they said, we're changing our sales practices. There are going to be words that are banned.
No longer are we going to say, give me that purse.
Anyone who says, give me that purse in any of our stores will be escorted from the premises by our armed security agents. So,
with guns firing. Welcome to America.
Anyway. How the hell do we get off? Oh, okay, so self-driving cars. Watch the video of the accident. Apparently, it's pretty funny. Corey,
It's not funny.
Corey just seemed to get a real kick out of it. So
It's not funny. It's just interesting.
yeah. And we should all be. Here's the other thing. If we had self-driving cars, then all the cars were that way.
Yeah.
Then they would all react to each other. Put them on a big network. Maybe we could all log into the cars, and it probably wouldn't take that much information. I'm just going to skim the terms of service, but I'm assuming that it's not going to take that much information from me. So
Sounds a lot like a John Q Facebook user to
oh,
me.
hey, it does. And you know what? That's why they call me Transition Man.
Now I need a drop for that. God damn it.
How good was that? Come on.
It was good.
Yeah,
I liked it.
All
I
right.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, so if you haven't been paying attention, and it's probably because it's not in your Facebook feed, because Facebook has artificially squashed all of the reports of the stories. But if you are on Twitter, which, by the way, we keep telling you, get your news from Twitter. Please get on Twitter. That's where you can get the best news. Lots of news happening as far as Facebook's concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So started a couple weeks ago with a whistleblower bringing up news of Cambridge Analytica.
Mm-hmm.
We brought up Cambridge Analytica a little bit when I made the point that if what's the Democratic guy again? Soros. If Soros was anything like Mercer, then we would be in a lot of trouble. The Republicans would be in a lot of trouble.
I do appreciate that other people were getting that sentiment.
Yeah.
Like, yes, if Soros actually did
Mercer
that
is
done,
the boogeyman that Soros is intended to be.
but he's on the wrong side of the political equation,
Right.
so we're not going to
Hannity doesn't like him, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
But basically what had happened was that an app had made a quiz. Did you ever hear what the quiz was?
I think there was more than one.
Well, I mean, like you ever see on Facebook where it's just like, see what you would look like as a 70-year-old man or
Right.
something like that. And you let them have permission to take your pictures and take your contact information, all your basic info, and create a aged up picture of yourself. Well, you basically just gave somebody a whole shit ton of information about yourself that you didn't understand that you were giving them just to see what you would look like as a 70-year-old.
Yes.
So, hooray.
Now, luckily, most of the stupid people who do this live in places where nobody really cares. And then the election of 2016 comes along, and all that data gets to be real important.
Yeah. So basically what had happened was that information was passed along to a college professor who was saying that he was using the information for statistical purposes, and therefore it didn't have to be anonymized.
Right.
And he had sort of like accurate information about every single individual person.
By the way, something you've agreed to in your Facebook terms of service, that under these certain conditions, your information will be shared non-anonymously to certain groups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was in the middle of a
It's okay.
And then that information was sold to Cambridge Analytica, who claimed to Facebook that they were also like a sort of academic institution.
Sure.
And then when
Facebook did a thorough investigation into them before giving them your personal information.
they did none of that.
They cashed the check. That's what they did.
There was no check to cash there.
No, I think Cambridge purchased it from.
Yeah, but Facebook didn't get a cut.
Oh, they didn't?
No, they bought it from the professor.
That makes
who
it
said that he was using it, but his thing apparently wasn't legitimate either.
Oh, well, of course not. Why would it be?
Fast forward to Cambridge Analytica has information on 50 million Americans.
I think that's a conservative number.
Yeah.
I think it was more than that. That was like 150 million.
Well, the actual information they had was 50 million Americans.
Right.
But the way it worked was, so this poll that started it all, or these quizzes that started it all, began with, let's say I go on and do one of these quizzes.
Yes.
Then everybody I'm friends with on Facebook, including Rob,
Yes.
is now part of that information trove.
Right.
And in a small amount of time, you can rack up a tremendous number of users. And
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
right.
Everyone is within 6 degrees of any other person on the planet Earth.
Yeah. So before it got shut down, there was millions upon millions of people who were affected.
Yes.
And that information was being used by a political consulting group called Cambridge Analytica to basically predict how people would respond to certain news items and sway the election.
And they put it to the test. There was ad buys that were not advertisements. They were made to be interacted with like they were stories. And then they were judging how well they could guess what the interaction was going to be.
Right.
And they were finding that their predictions were extremely accurate. Like, okay, based on everything we know about this 150 million people, we think that if you share this with 1,000 people, that within a certain amount of time, you'll have this much interaction and the demographics of that will be this.
Right.
And they're strangely on point. So, yeah.
To be fair, it's also one of those sciences that when it works, it seems like it's a really fantastic way of figuring out how people are going to vote or how people are going to react to things. But it's also like, this is probably the only time this sort of thing has really worked on a scale this large. So
remember that Hillary Clinton did win the 2016 election within the margin of error. The problem was the voters weren't in the right place.
Yeah.
Well, because that was
she won the popular vote.
Yeah, is it Nick Silver?
Nate Silver,
who was just like, I was right. You guys keep saying I was wrong. I was right. She won really big in really populous places. But the Electoral College meant that she didn't win where she needed to win. And thus the election went the way that it went. And that's where Cambridge Analytica apparently had some sway.
Yeah.
In those places where, are poorer and whiter.
Facebook, prior to the election, I found out that Cambridge Analytica was in charge of this data, though, and was not a scholastic enterprise.
Right.
And said, please delete all the information that you have.
Yes.
To which Cambridge Analytica said, yeah, sure, why not? And then didn't delete it.
Yeah.
And apparently sold it a couple more times. Mm-hmm. And then Cambridge Analytica has since folded, essentially, but started as a brand new organization with all the same people in charge.
They were a shell company, essentially, anyway, and they folded the shell company and then reopened a new shell company with the same board of directors, and they basically fired all their employees and then rehired the employees under the new company.
Right.
So, welcome to America, where we make up the rules and the points don't matter.
But now we're talking about what kind of the news. I wanted to see kind of where the news went on this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, become more about what kind of information Facebook has about you, and more importantly, what other tech companies have about you.
Yeah.
So
it was the first time I think people were asking, like, what do those terms of service say?
Right.
Is this a violation? And they went through and they're like, oh no, not a violation.
Right.
But also look at all the shit that they have.
Yeah. But I will say this. Facebook has this, for most people, most non-scholastic enterprises, it's not like I can say, show me everyone who's an Orioles fan, and then a list populates.
True.
If I'm trying to sell, so like, I'm going to put up a thing for the new Capitals shirt.
Yes.
And try and put it out to Capitals fans.
Yes.
Facebook has a big trove of people they know to be Capitals fans.
Right.
So when I say I want this to be advertised to Capitals fans, people they know are going to get that message.
But you won't know.
But I won't know who those people are.
Right.
I'll just have sort of general data information about, like, this is really popular with men from 25 to 35 or something like that. Or
in the Washington D.C. metro area.
Right.
Probably.
I'll get generalized information about who my people are, and then I can create a lookalike audience for this podcast, saying that the people who have watched parts of this before are like the people I want advertised to, and people who are like them are people who I want to advertise to. So you can create this, like for even numbers' sake, let's say 1,000 people have watched podcast on Facebook. Yeah. Like this live stream or something like it.
I mean, we're pushing 1,000 right now. So.
But those 1,000 people can be turned into a randomized person.
Yes.
Like a placeholder person.
Well, probably like 10 randomized people.
Right. And then Facebook can find those people, everyone who's like that on their service, and then advertise it to.
Yes.
So far, I'm not completely against that. I feel like that's a more reasonable business model. But the question is,
and that's the service they're providing.
Yeah.
That's the reason you're giving them ad dollars, because they can build that kind of audience. Whereas if we bought time on KTLA, it's going to be 99% people who don't know what podcasts are.
Yeah.
And then the 1% is then divided further into 100%, and 1% would listen. So,
well, and the other deal is like car manufacturers or car dealers have traditionally had we always need to be advertising approach.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know when people are going to buy a new car, but I want our car commercial to be showing when they're ready to buy a new car.
Also, why they always have deals. Every holiday is a different deal. As soon as one sale ends, it's a new sale. But go ahead. Yeah.
And the purpose is that you want to be saturating the market enough so that when somebody wants to buy, they see your thing. It's the same reason why like Coke advertises all the time.
Yep.
McDonald's, anything that you can get anytime. They want to constantly be on mind.
Yeah, when Corey has like a little strange noise come from his car, which he's not upside down on, you're positive to.
Yeah.
And you hear that noise, you're like, "Ooh, maybe I should start thinking." And then the Chevy Malibu commercial comes on.
Yeah.
You're like, "Wow, that is a good deal."
Yeah.
It's a good deal on a Chevy Malibu, 2018 Chevy
But
Malibu.
here's some things I don't think people know about what's going on. So, say I come home, I hear that weird noise, and I'm like, maybe I'll just look and see what kind of cars are out there.
Yeah.
And I go to cars.com, and I'm just cruising around. I'm looking at different things. Decide, all right, I'm done with this for now. I'm going to move over to Facebook. I go to Facebook, and I start seeing car advertisements from cars.com on there. And like, buy the new Chevy Traverse or whatever it is. Then that's because Facebook follows you around the internet wherever you go to find these things that advertisers would like about you.
Right.
Part of downloading Facebook app on your phone or having a Facebook app on your computer or even allowing Facebook to track cookies is all in the desire to get a massive profile of things that you are doing on the internet associated with your thing. Facebook just recently released small bits of information that they have about you, which is basically phone calls you made, how long they lasted, where you were when you made them, who you were making them to, not like, specifically like, Corey called Rob Cheek, but it would say Corey's phone number called Rob Cheek's phone number.
Yep.
At this time, and he was here, and it lasted this long.
But by the way, if you have your number in Facebook, which I do have my number in Facebook, they could theoretically then pull my search their own records for my number.
Yeah, they can just auto replace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it has information about like all your text messages and pictures.
Every picture you've ever sent, somebody at Facebook could theoretically have seen it.
Also,
just keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, pictures you didn't send or
right.
save.
Yeah.
Because they had so here's the thing. We get excited about new features in technology, and then we don't care how.
Especially that guy.
Well, so like for instance, Facebook released a thing called Memories a couple years ago, which is like claim all the pictures that nobody tagged you in.
Right.
Which is the idea is like, like let's say we all go bowling and Rachel takes pictures and you take pictures and I take pictures, but we don't all post them on Facebook or we don't tag each other in them.
Or more importantly, Rachel invites somebody from work who we're not friends with.
Right.
But we appear in some of their photos.
Yeah, she had a really good photo of us. Then we would be able to get those photos through the Memories app.
Yeah.
And you would say, how is that possible? Because Facebook is looking at every single one of your photos, scanning them, figuring out if people are in them that are in Facebook.
And by the way, making the connection between, all right, so this person is a friend of Rachel's. Rachel is a friend of you. So the 80% likelihood that this is you now becomes a 90% likelihood. 80% just based on appearance.
Yeah.
90% based on relationship. 95% based on the fact that your phone was at the place where this picture was taken at the time in which it was taken because you have the app as well. So,
and the other one, I don't know if people know about this, but go to your Google Maps and then click on the little hamburger and then go to your timeline.
By hamburger, he means the 3 lines.
The 3 lines.
Yes.
Yeah, it's commonly known as a hamburger.
Amongst tech geeks like him.
And you can see, I'll just give you a quick peek on there.
Can't see anything.
Yep.
That's okay.
But it says, today I went 0.5 miles to lunch. And it'll show me the exact route in which I took to get to lunch.
Yep.
When I left the house today. And if I went all kinds of different places, it would show you every single place that you've been to.
Actually, yeah.
And
let's see.
If you are the type of person who finds that thing exciting, then you will get an email from Google every single month saying, this is your January in review. This is all the places you went in January. And it'll say things like, like, oh, you were in San Francisco and you were San Jose, and you go like, oh yeah, I was in those places. But you can drill down and figure out you can find very specifically where you were, where you went, how long it took for you to get there.
Look how exciting I am. To work, back home, same route. One direction and back the other direction. All right. Well, okay. But yeah, no, and that's all there. That's all that information's there, which is great if, you're accused of murder and you have to prove that you were a place or you weren't a place. It's fantastic. But otherwise, they just have information about where you are.
Well, it can also say, like, for instance, I mean, the people worry about Big Brother.
Yeah.
Big Brother's not coming in the form of cameras on the thing. I mean, that's part of it.
Yeah.
But
Listen,
where it eventually will be Corey drove 7.3 miles, and it took him 15 minutes to do that. There is no way that he did that without speeding.
Right.
And we are going to mail him a speeding ticket.
just for at some point.
Yeah, at some point you had to be speeding.
Yeah.
There was no way you got from one place to the other that fast. Not in L.A. No way it happened.
In the 1950s, people were worried about wiretaps in their house. And now, hey, wiretap, how long do I boil an egg for? The thing that's always listening.
Yeah.
And only it gets activated when you say the magic words, but it's always listening to everything that you say. And by the way, can tell the difference between Corey's voice and my voice.
Yeah.
So much so that when I ask for a video on YouTube, it will appear in my watch list and not yours.
Or if you said something like call mom, if we both had mom
Yes.
on our thing.
It would call my mother instead of your mother. And then if somebody else said mother, it would not know who to call from.
Yeah.
And it would ask, which contact am I calling?
Right.
Yeah. So welcome to the Big Brother age. But
the good news at the very least is that, yes, private industry has figured out a way around this by pretending that they're a scholastic institution. The good news is that the government will not do all the things that are necessary to get the best tech people to work for them.
Pay them?
Yeah, well, A, pay them.
Yeah.
B, not allow them to do drugs,
Yes.
which is a common refrain amongst it's like the tech industry is like the restaurant industry. It's like, well, if we didn't hire people who did drugs, then we wouldn't have any employees at all.
Yeah. If you got to be okay with a guy smoking a little weed every now and again, and otherwise you're not going to get the best people, unfortunately. Right. So.
And the government isn't willing to do that, so all their people are way the hell behind the curve. But, I mean, there are real-life practical applications for this, which could help. Like, for instance, if, say, the city of Los Angeles had anonymized data about where people are or where they're traveling or how long it's taking them to get somewhere, they could change the lights automatically so that, we have a big, huge backup here on La Cienega, and we need to clear it out. Let's turn all these lights green and get this out of here so we can open up the funnel to other people. Those types of things are not on people's...
No. And that's the thing I hate, is that I know it's there, and I'm sitting there, and I'm on my... I got my phone up on the dash, and I'm on Google, like, are there any alternative routes while I'm sitting at a light with no cross traffic?
Yeah.
In the morning, on my way to work. And I look over at the car next to me. Guy... also on Google Maps, looking for an alternative route.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is where a smart grid, like the things that they do in Europe, would be amazing.
Right.
Because they would say, hey, we know we have a lot of people going this direction. Why is this light red? There's no reason for it to be red.
Yeah.
Switch that up. And when he and I are coming down the roadway with the 90 cars behind us, you just keep the lights
Or,
red.
I mean, wouldn't it be sweet if one day in the future, say you had to run out somewhere at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Like you have to go... I don't know, to CVS.
To buy weed.
You have to go to buy drugs. And you pull up to a light, and there's nobody around. There's nobody on your street. There's nobody on the cross street.
Yeah.
And it just sees you coming, and it sees you're the only car around, and it just turns green so you can keep moving.
Yeah. Oh, and it would stop those left arrow lights, which,
Yeah.
by the way, I've learned are horrible in LA. It's the worst. Why do you have these things? Left arrow lights. But yeah, I mean, again, so you're not sitting there. There's no oncoming traffic. Give me the green arrow. Let me go.
It's actually better for gas mileage and for the environment if everyone was to keep moving.
Yep. Not sitting idle.
Yeah.
And, oh, by the way, if you were tied into, I mean, it's hard for them to pick a corporate partner like Google.
Right.
What are you going to pick? Apple Maps?
Yeah.
Anyway.
People would just go careening off the 405.
But no, so you pick Google Maps as a corporate partner, and now the map is feeding information to the city, which is also feeding information back to Google. And it can be like, oh, hey, yeah, there's a problem on La Cienega, but we've already addressed it, and that information that you have may not be the most up to date. Like that's going to be, you should start sending people that way.
Yeah.
Because that's the way that's going to be clear now.
Right.
And get off the 101 and get out of my way. On my way to work, please. Thank you.
But I would make one last argument before
Yes.
we get out of here.
Yeah.
Is that a lot of people have been talking about, I think it's unfair that technology companies have this much of a stranglehold on our information, and the old line that if you don't pay anything for the product, then you are the product.
That's exactly right.
But I would like to pivot humanity as a whole on this particular technology, which is to say that I think that in the internet age, we are identity fluid.
Yeah.
More so than we ever have been before.
Corey's especially fluid on his identity.
I'm trying to say that, like, I've used this example before. Rob, if your mom asks you where you were last night, you have a perfectly reasonable answer. You were at Bible study. You were somewhere.
Sure, yeah.
You were not at the strip club.
Are you arguing that I lie to my mother?
No, but I'm saying, like, you figure out a way to tell her the thing.
Yes.
Without upsetting her,
Yes.
without making her go like, "Oh, my poor baby boy," or anything like that.
Yes. Yes, I would.
But if I ask you, then you're going to give me the information that I need.
Yeah.
Without any kind of filter on it.
Yeah.
And I think that, generally speaking, people on Facebook, some people are, there's just no filter at all. But I'm saying some people on Facebook are way more reserved than they are in real life.
Yes.
And don't talk about the things that they like in real life. There's not many people who like sexy feet on Facebook because they don't want everyone in their friends group to know
Right.
that they're into sexy feet.
Not everyone does, but Pornhub has a share to Facebook button for a reason.
Right.
Somebody's using that. I
Right.
don't know who it is, but somebody's using it.
Right. So I feel like Facebook, to an extent, I mean, there's information they have that we don't even know they have. But I like to imagine that there is a world in the future where your online persona is much like the different personas that you have amongst people.
Sure.
Where, your mom has a different view of you than your friend does. And Facebook has a different view of you than anybody does, because the only things that you give it are the things that you want it to have.
Right. And I mean, some Facebook already allows you to do it. Now, Facebook itself sees everything because Facebook is all.
Right.
But I have special groups that I post under, like everyone but my mother.
Yeah.
Or everyone but the 6 crazy women who will probably come and murder me in my sleep if they see me post this. So you can already do that somewhat. This is just keeping it out of Facebook as well.
Right.
So that they don't get that data. But again, it's a mixed bag of, we want the advantage of this thing. Because here's the thing. I like some of those targeted ads. I like when I'm shopping for flowers and the next thing I know, I see 25% off flowers at flowers.com. I like that.
Right.
But you don't necessarily like the negative. And there's got to be a way as the future progresses for us to get the benefit without the cost. Because I don't need you to see the dick pic that I sent on Saturday night for me to get 25% off flowers at flowers.com.
Yeah.
Yes, those two things might be related, but I don't need Facebook to have all of that information.
Yeah, they don't need to know everything. I think the question is what this is everyone too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we're picking on Facebook because they got their information used improperly, but it could have been Twitter.
Yeah, they just got caught.
It could have been Google. Could have been Apple. Apple knows if you want
more.
Yeah. If you want to, the two companies you should be most scared of are Google and Apple.
Yeah.
They're the number 1 and 2 on the list.
Yeah.
I would put Apple a little bit ahead of Google because they have a known history of law enforcement calling them up saying, "Hey, we have some information that we'd like to know about Rob Cheek." And they say, "I'm sorry, do you have a warrant?" And they say, "We'll get to it." And it's like, "Yeah, fair enough." And then just pass your information along.
Yeah. Good enough.
The only time I think the only time they actually ever stood up was when they had the locked iPhone. There was some case a couple years ago with like a locked iPhone.
And they wouldn't unlock it.
Yeah. It was like the San Bernardino shooter or something like that.
Was it San Bernardino? It was some shooter.
I mean, it was like it was something like
Yes,
that, where
yeah.
the person who committed this horrible crime had a locked iPhone.
Yeah.
And the FBI couldn't get in, and they said to Apple, like, how do you do this? And because it was in the store, in the news,
Right.
and everyone was hearing about this, that's when Tim Cook went, not on my watch, you're not getting into an iPhone with...
Meanwhile, there had
Yeah.
probably been, the reason that they even asked is because they knew that there was a way
Yeah.
to get in there because they've asked before.
Right.
But this one was
And
in the news.
I would imagine the Face Unlock was probably Apple's way of saying, like, hey, let's not worry about this anymore. Just
I don't trust that. That's why I don't trust it, because you're sleeping, and the girl just puts the phone right over your face, boop, boop, and it's unlocked. Why would you want that? Not that you have anything to hide.
Yeah.
We don't have things to hide. Of course
No.
not. But, it's a little bit of privacy every once in a while.
yeah,
It goes well for women. It goes well for Facebook.
A little
goes for
helpful
Google.
privacy.
Yes. Yeah. It goes for everybody. Everybody and everything. But yes, you should be way more afraid of Google. And because, by the way, personality profile, my profile, God only knows.
Yeah.
Being a writer ruins whatever Google profile they have for you.
Yeah.
How do I get rid of a body in 15 minutes? Like,
Yeah.
the things that Google has informed me about, I don't even want to think about.
I
really should use incognito mode more.
The one that was funny to me was once I was trying to figure out like what this one I was writing a female character, and I was trying to figure out exactly what you would call an article of clothing.
Okay.
It's a crop top, so it's like the one that like cuts off right here. But I didn't know exactly how you would describe that.
Let's call this game the shirts versus the blouses.
But
I don't know why you're giving me a stink face. You know what section you got that shirt in.
you go to Forever 21 as a writer, and then you're going through page after page of female garments.
Yes.
Until eventually you're just like, oh, that's what I want. It's called a crop top. Cool. Got it. And then you go on Facebook 15 minutes later. It's just like, you want to buy this really pretty floral crop top? And I'm just like, no, I don't, Facebook. You're using your information against me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine what kind of ads I got for how do you dispose of a body in 15 minutes. Whew, man.
The California Klan would like to talk to you.
But that's the targeting advertisements. So, I mean.
We're 4Ks here. California Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Anyway.
Instead of 4H, it's 4K.
So this goes into a broader conversation of what are your rights as a citizen of the internet and a citizen of the world. And we started talking about Bezos earlier and what would a legislator do about Amazon.
Yeah.
But I think that these two topics really do intertwine because Amazon is essentially, the marketplace of the internet.
I mean, Amazon's just as guilty as Facebook
Also
of any
true.
of this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they know what you buy and where you live, and if you're willing to go somewhere to pick something up faster, or like they have all kinds of psychological things.
Wait, by the way, if you think that you getting free shipping on a certain number of items or a certain price of items is accidental, I can guarantee you that, well, you already have Prime. But if you didn't have Prime, that you and I would have a different level of spending to get free shipping. Because they know that once I hit $18.99, I'll spend the extra $2 to get the free shipping.
Yeah.
But maybe Corey's like, maybe not. Even if the shipping's more, I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that argument makes sense, but you know what I mean.
Well, the problem is that if you're $4 away from free shipping,
yeah.
you say to yourself, like, oh, I can find something that costs $4. And then as you're searching around looking for the item that costs $4, you find something that costs $40. You're just like, well, I really need this too.
But that's the suggestions at the bottom of the screen that are like, hey, here,
I heard you need a new
person.
backpack. It's just like, well, of course I do.
That sounds like something I'd absolutely need. So this goes into a bigger issue of like, what are our rights as internet citizens? Who gets to cover those rights? Amazon is in, I think, every country except for North Korea, maybe, and Cuba. They might actually be in Cuba.
They were, and then Trump said no anymore.
Not
on my watch.
Yes, not on my watch. We don't want them getting free shipping and capitalist merchandise. That won't do anything for democracy on the island.
Amazon's just got to sip it across on a boat. Just put a bunch of packages in Miami and just...
That's how Bezos made his money. He's running goods into Cuba.
Oh,
just
there
like
we
the
go.
Kennedys and the Rockefellers. He's a true American. But so what are your rights and who enforces them? If Amazon is a company that's in 190 countries, does me living in the United States, do my rights differ than someone who lives in a much more internet protected state like the EU?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like on the EU front, Google recently got there was recently a decision where Google would have to remove pages if it was proven that whatever information was on the page is not true.
Right. Yeah.
So if I wrote Rob Cheek started a fire that burned down a church, and there was a judgment, you took me to court.
Oh, okay. I'd have to prove that wasn't true first.
Right, but
though.
I'm saying
Okay,
you took me to court, and you proved your innocence in court.
Yes.
Then you could go to Google
and say take down
in
that page.
Europe and say, this has been proven to be factually untrue. You need to remove these 20 news stories which said that they're not off. And it's not eliminating it from the internet. It's just eliminating it from Google.
But in many cases, that's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you don't know where to specifically look for it, then you would never find that information.
I Google Facebook to get to Facebook.
Cancel.
Oh, hey, Wiretap. How long? Hey, Wiretap. How long to boil an egg? But yeah, I mean, I use that search engine to bring up Facebook occasionally. Yeah. Like sometimes I spell it wrong in the thing, and I'm like, oh, all right, there you go. That's the one. That's the one I meant. Like, I use it for everything. So yes, of course.
Yeah.
Nobody would know. No, I need to go to newsmedia.com / hyphen AXTYZ 97342. There we go. There's the story.
There's the article about Rob and the church that he burned down.
But I mean, so does Amazon operating around the world, does that bring in special considerations? Facebook having that kind of, as citizens of the internet, which is growing in importance almost more than what country you're in at this point. Because, again, people in Russia impacted the election in America, not solely by messing with ballots, but by messing with people's minds and propaganda. And that's going to continue to be important in the future.
And saying things like, we know that a gun and anti-gun rally in Houston is going to draw a big crowd.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Again, I don't know if we talked about that story on the podcast, but people in Russia organized 2 Facebook groups in Texas. One was pro-gun, one was anti-gun. They got them to face off. They had rallies on the same day and got them to face off against each other. That is an unbelievable amount of power for someone to have.
Yes.
And again, should there be more protections? Should people be smarter? Definitely the latter. Maybe.
But you know how they got all those people to come out? They advertised, or they went into Facebook ads, found all the people who like guns, and then started promoting their page to the gun lovers, and then found people who didn't like guns and started promoting the opposite page to those people,
and then started events on both
of them, and then created this swell of people to show up based off of information that they didn't have to have specific. They didn't need to know Bob Smith liked guns in Houston.
Nope. They just need to know.
They just needed to know this person liked guns in Houston, and we're setting them toward your page, and then they're going to get animated by the thing that you put out there. And
and then maybe a little cross promotion too. Send the anti-gun thing to the gun lover, and then he gets even more upset and willing to go out and, like, you send him the news story about the anti-gun protest.
Yeah.
And then he goes to his Facebook group and says, hey, that same day, my people got a protest too. I'm going out there.
Yeah.
And now you guys are idiots, and you're standing on the corners yelling at each other while somebody in Russia is like,
Putin.
Yes. Anyway. But so more protections probably. But again, I think the 4 years of this podcast have shown I am a big fan of the term the slippery slope, and I don't want the government to get too involved because that never works out.
I would just prefer if the internet and the government were like, what's the is it the Chinese wall where you keep things separated?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a Chinese wall.
Yeah. I would like to keep the Chinese wall between the internet and the government.
Yeah.
They can have basic information that is exchanged between the two of them, but it should be treated as like a separate entity completely.
John D. Rockefeller owned Standard Oil, which at one point had a virtual monopoly on gasoline in the United States. And yet, gasoline remained affordable, and it had its longest streak of less steady price without huge price increases and huge price fluctuations. That's what a responsible monopoly looks like. Yes, he had a monopoly. Yes, they made a profit. But he reached a point where it was like, this is the profit we need to reach. Set the price at that.
Yeah.
and keep it steady. We don't have those kind of CEOs anymore who are saying, hey, what's the responsible thing for me to do here? And what can we do to better the country that we are operating in? If we had more of that, then I would say leave it to Facebook and let them say, hey, police yourself. And maybe Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who,
See, here's the problem. I
blame Zuck.
I don't think that, as far as Bezos goes, I think that he's like a more responsible CEO. He seems like he is interested in yes, making enough money to turn a profit, but not, trying to be like an evil coal magnate or something like that.
I don't know if you've heard the stories about the people in the warehouses.
Well, yes, but
now
I'm saying
they're wearing watches, these fake watches, that keep track of where their hands are at all times.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying what I imagine happens though is that he says to his board of goons or his board of people when Amazon is first starting out, going like, hey, I've decided we're not going to just sell books, we're also going to sell DVDs. It's like, how do we get DVDs at the lowest cost to sell on the site? Or how do we do this? Or how do we do that? How do we make things more efficient? And then all the people below him come up with ideas to make things more efficient.
Yeah.
And come to him and say like, hey, we've decided that if we put watches on all the people who work in the warehouse so we can figure out how quickly they're working and who's taking breaks and who's not efficient and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And he probably says, oh, that sounds like a great idea to keep the best, most efficient people working.
Sure.
And he doesn't. I mean, I'm saying, I feel like a lot of these things come to him with a number attached.
Is he sipping?
It's like
sipping champagne and petting a white cat while he does this? That's how I picture him.
No, but I'm saying, say you're the Orioles.
Okay.
And somebody can come to you with specific numbers and say Manny Machado is worth $26.34 million a year.
Sure.
Based on the current numbers of what players are worth and his expected stats, that is the exact dollar amount you would have to pay him.
Right.
Amazon is the type of company that as soon as somebody makes the offer for $27 million for Machado, they're just like, we're done. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
Sure.
You've passed our point of interest.
Yeah.
But up until that number, they're going to stay competitive in it because they realize that they can get bang for their buck in that regard. Whereas other businesses are more emotional, where they don't have the strict number that can equate to
a Trump company. Just getting competitive and we're
just
gonna build the biggest, greatest thing ever.
Just gonna buy the Taj Mahal. Let's do it.
Sure.
I gotta have a thing in Atlantic City that's gonna be running forever.
This couldn't lose. The casino business, that always makes money.
Yeah.
Yes. But so I guess we'll have to wait and see about how all of this internet freedom checks out, because net neutrality rolled back. So
yeah.
You guys forgot about that already, didn't you?
Yeah.
Net neutrality. Nope, we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
And they're starting to make rules now and laws with that in mind, that there is no net neutrality. So watch out.
Yeah. Have fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, a place where we don't have a lot of whole personal information on you?
Where's that?
OTheAnthem.com. Corey to OTheAnthem.com. O The Anthem on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line 443-219-7595.
What's that number again?
443-219-7595. And you can find more of me.
So close. So close.
I was waiting for the thing to change. You can find more of me on Facebook at Corey Baker Film, at Legend CB5 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and my website, CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com, where you can find all the things that I'm up to, including film reviews, which are available on my YouTube. So go check those out.
I just love that we talk so much shit about Google and Facebook, and then the list of things is Facebook product, Instagram, Facebook product, YouTube, Google product.
Yeah. Please don't shut us down.
Anyway, you
can quash us anytime you want.
You can find me on our social networks at Robert N. Cheek. Make sure you check out robertncheek.com, where you can find links to my political blog, the news website, and the books, which are available on Amazon.
Buy Rod's books.
Thank you, sir. And of course,
Amazon.
Now, oh my God. And of
Just
course,
a little bit of everything.
If you're looking to keep the independent in your independent internet, go on over to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/Robert and Cheek, where you can support all the stuff that I'm doing, including all the videos and the books and the screenplays, and you get stuff that isn't going to be visible anywhere else. Only my supporters on Patreon are getting that, including I'm trying to take on National Poetry Writing Month, which is this month, and the goal is to write a poem a day every single day. I'm probably not going to do that, but I'm going to write as much as I possibly can, and I'll be posting those on Patreon, so make sure you go over there to check it out. Patreon.com/Robert and Cheek.
Oh, fun.
Yes.
Well, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you're listening to the O The Anthem podcast, part of the O The Anthem digital network. For Corey, this is Rob. Have a great week, everybody.
Arriva Dirt Chase, suckers.